Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Toddy Rap, or Reincarnated as a podcaster. You know, you have your boy here, Bob, boy Eddie, and Forrest.
Yo.
Not a boy.
With 3 R's.
Forrest. 3 R's.
You want to be a boy?
No, I want to be a man.
I'm a man here for
The Forrest.
after taking a 3-week break. Oh, well, that was last week.
That was last week.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what order I'm going to put this in. Like, am I putting Cam's episode next, or am I going to put this one next?
What about the reaction video?
All right, that's today. It
Oh,
came out
that-
today.
That's up.
Oh, shit.
I was trying to decide what day to put it out, and I was like, you know what, Saturday is a good day. It's not interacting too bad with the podcast.
Yeah.
So I think today. I haven't looked at the numbers.
Check out our previous videos. If you want to be on the podcast, you know, DM us. Comment on the video.
Yeah, we're on YouTube and all streaming services.
Yeah.
Except
And if
for
we see the
Twitch.
comment,
Except for Twitch,
and
yeah.
you're cool, maybe we'll invite you.
Yeah.
No. But what are we talking about today?
Yeah,
What did we watch?
Dude, what didn't we watch? I watched a fuck ton of movies this week.
You watched the first ton of movies.
I've watched all the
Yeah.
movies in the past 4 weeks that we can still talk about too.
The last shitty movie I watched this week
Okay.
was Old.
Oh, do you
Oh,
watch
you
the
watched
old?
Old?
I watched Old. Oh, wait, no. The last movie I watched was Candyman.
Ah,
Oh, the new
fuck
one?
that.
Yeah. I watched
Did you
that
like
one.
it?
I liked it.
Oh, really? It was
Sadly,
good.
I fell asleep the last 2 minutes.
Oh.
I took a
Through the
long.
last 2 minutes.
I took a long blink because I was so tired, and then when I opened my eyes,
It's
roll credits. I'm like, no.
it's produced by Jordan Peele, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I remember.
It's not. I don't think it's spooky. It's just.
It's a slasher film.
Yeah.
I was thinking of watching it.
Yes.
But
It's pretty okay.
yeah, but I've seen the original, like the old one. That was fun.
You have my nightmares for like months.
No. I can watch slasher films. I got no problems with slasher films.
He says that.
My brain's fucked up.
He's like, it's a slasher, but then he teleports. He's like, it's a ghost now. I can't.
Like I can't.
It's
This
over.
ruins. No, I mean it's not necessarily ghosts. That's not the problem.
The goblins.
It's demons.
That's the problem.
I'd argue most of the ghosts in every horror is a demon.
yeah,
Speaking
that's
of
why.
demons, I saw this. I think it's a B movie. I don't
Demon
know.
Slayer?
No.
That's
no.
a B movie.
It's called The Unkind or something like that.
Oh, that's the one you told him to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't watch it.
I'm going to watch it.
No.
Well, you told him to watch it.
Yeah, but he tells me to watch everything he watches, so I just watch
You'll
it.
like it for the meme, but it's ADR. Like the whole movie.
Oh.
All of the characters are ADR.
Yeah.
And I think me and Gentry watched like a half hour and we're like, nah, turn this shit off, dude. I can't watch this.
Dude, we
It's
gotta
so
I gotta go
unwatchable.
back and do
think-
more B movies.
I almost think like the worst part of ADR is how it's all mixed at the same dynamic.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no like sense of space or anything that you get with a standard recording. It's just you're like
Guy and microphone.
You're like I'm watching an image while sitting in a studio with the voice actors.
Pretty much.
That's exactly what's
This
going
was
down.
like a you know when they do the script reading like that, but you're watching it. I was like, this is so bad.
Name one ADR that's good.
It has Paul Walker in it.
That's not the one that's. Oh, that one is
That
ADR.
ADR by Vin
Yeah, because
Diesel.
the Vin Diesel voice. That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, name two.
I can't.
All of anime.
The Room.
Ooh,
The Room is a good one too.
The Room.
The Room has a lot of.
all of Tommy Wiseau's lines are ADR'd
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
by
See?
himself. But yeah,
ADR is the best thing that
I mean
happened.
they're done by himself. But you know whatever, it is still ADR.
I was watching this movie and I'm like, the lips don't match what they're saying. Maybe it's in a different language. No. They're for sure
Well-
speaking English, but then it's just like
I had the issue with
weird.
Dark when I first started Dark. I didn't know it was in another language. I'm like,
Oh,
what the fuck's wrong with their voices? Doesn't match. And I'm like, original German. I'm
Of course.
okay.
this
I
makes
just
so much
watched
more
it.
sense now.
It's now watching the original language. This is much better. I was gonna ask, did you watch Free Guy?
No.
Oh, that was another one I wasn't gonna
It's a
watch.
good movie. I'd recommend
That was it.
Yeah.
I almost watched Pixel instead.
Oh my! God. Have you not seen Pixel?
No.
I've seen
Oh
that
my
one.
God.
Oh no.
It's got what's his name? Best boy, the guy who doesn't cheat. Or makes fun of him at least, right?
Who doesn't cheek, but like
In Pixel, the
I'm trying.
video game dude.
I'm trying to remember everyone in that movie because you have Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
There's the fat dude
Oh yeah.
who I don't remember.
I love the fact, dude.
is it that guy? This is the same guy from like Cop Mall.
I don't know if it's that guy. I know the what's his face is in there. Tyrion Lannister's in there.
What?
I'm not surprised.
Whatever his name is, I don't remember his
After
name.
you told me that website, I'm like, oh, look at all these
Because
movies I can watch.
Because he's the what's it called, right? He's the guy who holds the record or anything for the certain.
Yeah,
game.
the supposed record for like Donkey Kong and 2 other games.
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You forgot
Kevin James is in there, and Josh Gad.
Yeah.
So I should have specified who I was referring to.
I'm like, man, there's so many.
Fat guy, dude.
I forgot they were. Well, in my head, I could see both. I'm like, no, I think only one of them's in. Nope, they were both in that movie.
I did watch Silence.
How was that?
As long as shit.
Sean
Like
Bean
2.5
is in it?
hours
I
long?
forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man.
Well, it's one of those movies. What do you think?
240, you wouldn't like it.
Movies gotta stop doing this 2.5 hour bullshit.
Oof. It was a rough watch.
I bet, man.
Yeah.
Just the subject material and everything.
You don't know? You think the 2.5 hours great?
I
Like
mean,
Bond, Bond had some great
a
extra
lot of my
2.5.
favorite movies are all like 2.5 hours or longer. So I mean, I can't really.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
You know what?
Those are the types of films I enjoy.
You know what's
Yeah.
another 2.5 hour
Garbage.
movie I
What?
watched this week? The Last Duel.
Garbage? Oh, yeah.
this.
Garbage?
Wait.
Okay.
I want to use what I was going to say
Okay.
before. You know what
Alright.
this reminded me of? 86.
Well, you know what's funny?
I watched it, I'm like, it's 86.
You know
Fuck
what's so
this
funny?
movie.
I'm watching this, right? Remembering what you guys told me, and like the episodes I did watch of '86, I watched this. I'm like, I already know what Forrest is gonna say.
It's 86.
I already fucking know what he's gonna say.
I'm going to
Okay.
give my rating early 1.
I watched the first act, right? And the
Deserve-
second act, I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I swear to God, if the third act is
No.
from her perspective, I'm like, oh, fuck this movie.
Well, once it did the second act, I'm like, yeah, movie's not bad. First act, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I can deal with the act bullshit. I'm like, we understand when there's because what I said as I sat down, I'm like, I understand when there's a transition. I don't need this act bullshit. And then it went backwards. I'm like, fuck this movie, garbage, complete garbage. I'll say cinematography's good. Beginning's a
Yeah,
little
no, that's fine.
slow, but
I mean, I think. Well, it's funny because I watched this movie because I love these types of films,
yeah,
just like
2.5
the
hour movies.
Yeah.
sure, like the historic,
Same,
epic
same.
or whatever, right? It's just the kind of film I enjoy.
Yeah,
And I probably had more enjoyment going down the historical rabbit hole afterwards than I did watching the actual film.
I was watching this movie, I'm like, so when is it going to get good?
That's why I said. At the beginning, I'm like, dude, this fight scenes are brutal. This is pretty good.
Well,
and I'm like, let's go slower. I'm like, that's fine. You
I
know, we
mean,
get the more perspective of history.
I did kind of know what it was like. I knew what the source material was. Like I knew what they were covering.
Sure.
And at this point, it was just to see how they were gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because I knew it wasn't. It's not like a lot of other Ridley Scott's like bigger epics. It's it's not the Crusades. It's
No,
not.
yeah.
It's this more like tamed.
Yeah.
I guess tamed in thing.
It's narrowed down to very
See,
small characters.
In my head, I didn't read. So, obviously you've seen the previews or whatever, right? But I didn't
Sure.
read what it was about. So in my head, I'm like, this is like another, like Joan of Arc type of story.
That's kind of what I thought, too.
And it was not.
No, I didn't think it would be. Like I knew this was
like, halfway
about.
through,
So
I'm like, yeah, she's just a normal character.
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah,
then-
when did she become a knight?
She
I
doesn't.
didn't think she became a knight. I just thought it was gonna be something like heroic or something.
Maybe that's what the last dude, like, she was going to fight somebody or whatever.
Well, it starts off with the last duel. It's one of those shitty movies where it starts off with the ending. Again.
You're wondering how I got here.
Yep.
That's what I was waiting for. I'm like, oh, this is a cool fight. I don't know what this is about. And then it's like, oh, this is the end of the movie because who would have thought?
You know something interesting?
What?
This technically wasn't the last duel fun, France.
It wasn't?
No, this is the
Wow,
first duel.
It was the last duel in this city.
No. By technicality, it is the last judicial duel that was held in France by means of proving innocence or guilt. But duels for honor that were sanctioned by the government continued until the 1500s, which takes place in like the 1300s. But yeah, it's not technically the last duel.
The movie's just ass all around.
So what I got from this movie is that Ridley Scott was trying to portray systemic misogyny in France.
Which, I mean,
That's
it's
what I
true.
got.
I was about to say for the time period, it also makes sense. I'm just watching this movie. I'm like, I don't think I'm learning anything.
It was just like, I mean, this case is such a weird case if you consider all of the culture at the time.
Yeah.
That's why it's like it's considered so important. And in France, it's become a little bit of kind of like a legend to a certain degree.
Cult classic.
Sure, right? Amongst the other things that France has, right? Like not including things like Joan of Arc and stuff like that. It's just one of those instances where the situation was just so weird for its time period and everything that happened and what it signified, that it's just something that has just stayed like in their historic lexicon for so long, amongst, you know, the shit ton of other stuff that always happened in that country over the past millennia.
They always surrendered, so it didn't really matter.
So for people that for some reason forgot what we're talking about The Last Duel, the movie. It's about a movie about 2 nights, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, they started out as squires,
Well,
but yes.
Okay, they're squires.
One
whatever.
night and one squire.
It's about 2 French assholes. Okay, one of them has a wife, and she accused this other guy of that he raped her. Right, so they go to a duel to prove her innocence. Blah blah blah.
Because of God.
Because of God, and apparently, you know, you can't conceive a child if you're raped,
That's what they actually
At
believed.
the time period.
or like.
That is what they actually
I
believe.
was like, yeah, if you don't enjoy it, then you can't get pregnant. I'm like, what?
That's what they actually believed.
Bro, these people, dude. Me and she were watching, we're like, what the fuck is this?
That's what they actually believed.
I was like, it makes
She
sense.
turns to me, she's like, I mean, some parts of the world, they still think like that. I'm like,
Yeah, they do.
what?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What is this backwards shit?
Welcome to being
Yo, is this Texas?
maybe a little older.
No, but that is actually what they believed.
God, dude. I was just like, what?
This whole movie, I just felt bad for like everyone, kind
I
of.
hated all of them
Yeah.
except for the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Even her, like her weird development stuff is just weird. Like how they threw it in there.
I wish Matt Damon wasn't in this movie.
It took me a
I
second to
almost-
realize that was Matt
well-
Damon. I'm not gonna lie. I was
That
like,
mullet, bro?
Yeah.
I looked at him like,
But
who is
I
that
think
guy?
I think this is a movie that suffers from its star power, if that makes sense. Like I
Sure.
no, to a certain degree, because I mean I watch this movie, right, and I look at it and I'm just like, this is just Matt Damon.
Yeah.
This is just Matt Damon or Ben Affleck. I'm like, this is
Oh
this
my
is just
God.
Ben
When I
Affleck.
saw Ben Affleck, and I'm like, what?
I mean, I guess Adam Driver falls in the same thing too. I'm like, this is just Adam Driver.
I kind of liked him.
Yeah, I
thought
mean,
he was
it's fine.
with
Yeah.
his character. You know, it was very awkward.
He
but,
looked
you
the
know.
part with his hair. He looked
Yeah,
very
yeah.
European.
Yeah, no, he has the look.
And then you have fucking, what's his name? Ben Affleck with his bleach hair.
I sat there and watched the movie. I'm like, yeah, I can push this back and not really care about it. But man, sometimes I'd see Adam Driver up there. I'm like, man, it's just Kylo.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen him in a lot of other stuff now that I can kind of pull him out, but I feel like he's
But that's what
very
portrayed to me in
very
this
Adam
movie.
Driver.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? like you watch Eddie Bowie with him. I mean,
Yeah, I think of him as Bad Touch too. That's what you say.
Oh, look, it's that guy from A Marriage Story. Yep.
I don't know, man. This movie was something though. I had issues from the start.
I was uncomfy.
It was very rapey.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I thought the other movie was way more uncomfortable.
Oh no. Yeah, for different reasons. Yes.
Which one?
Last Night in
Less Than
Soho.
Soho.
Oh, gotcha,
That
gotcha.
movie's way more uncomfortable than this. So I sat through this. I'm like, it's not as bad. But fuck all these guys, man. They're all just shitty. It's like, oh my god. I don't know.
Everybody.
Dude, they were all just so dumb. Like Matt Damon, the first scene, they're like, "Yeah, let's rush this shit." I'm like, "What?"
I mean, he's not meant to. He's not. He was never meant to be a smart person, right?
I just don't know how
'Cause-
he got to be a knight for being a dumbass, and then he lost.
I
that.
get-
Because that's hereditary.
The night thing made no sense to me.
The
Like,
what?
why did he get it then? It was just a random battle. It wasn't an important battle.
And they lost.
And yeah, they lost. It wasn't like, it was just like, here's your knighthood. Okay, see you later.
It was supposed to be, like, I think what I read afterwards, it's like proof of valor over all of his service. Not just like that battle in particular, but yes.
Yeah, but
for the king.
you don't normally do it like in the middle of like just before your battle. Hey, you finally got your knighthood, dude.
Dude, the
It was after, but
the
yes.
king in this movie was the pedophile from Black Mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I know him.
I thought it was before because he got it and then he went in the battle and then they lost and then he looked depressed and he said, "Shut the fuck up," and left.
Well, he got depressed because no one cheered for him when he got his knighthood.
Because I'm pretty sure it was after the battle that he got knighted.
Yeah, because there was one battle and then they shipped him out again.
Yeah,
and that's when he got his knighthood.
Yeah.
And then no one gave a shit except for the first two. They're like, yeah, and then he got his and he's like, boo. Fuck this guy.
he's shitty character.
So
Fuck
shitty.
that guy. Fucking complete. I think he's the worst character in this whole film.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, stop.
Adam Driver's pretty bad, but this guy is worse. At least in my mind.
I think it's more. He represents just like a simple character.
Yeah.
But that's what he is, right? He's just
a simpleton.
Like, yeah, that's he's just a simpleton that was bred to kill people.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Can't do that well.
Like I don't know. There's some parts in this movie that I thought were just weird. Like added in. Like they could have done better. Like when they showed her side of it, where she was doing like fuck the night. We're gonna use the horses instead of the ox and all this shit. I was just like, this is cool. You're showing like character growth for her, but then they just kind of like ripped it away and they're like, why was this here then? What did this show me? that she can
oppressed.
That she can run stuff.
That she's a smart person that's being oppressed by a simpleton.
Yeah, but I learned that in the first like 10 minutes when you first meet her. I don't need like an extra like 20 minutes of she did that, she did that.
Movie.
It's like,
I didn't need the two stories of their perspective or whatever to understand it. But also like I don't feel like the two guys' perspective added anything.
I think Adam Driver's perspective was a complete waste of time. Mm-hmm. It literally just was like, here's this thing that she told you he did. It's like, okay, cool, I saw it. And then it was like her side. And then I saw it again. And I'm like, but why?
In my head, because you watch his perspective, right? And, this guy's a rapist, right? And through his perspective, you can see that he acknowledges that this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she's like, nah, dude, I ain't rape her. I'm like, what? Like, maybe they would have showed it in a different way, where in his mind, it wasn't rape, right? But no, it was just clear that he knew it was wrong.
Well, when they started showing the sides, I expected to see like rose-colored glasses of each side.
Yeah.
No, it was just the same thing 3 times.
There is slightly rose. Like if you, it's subtle.
Yeah.
On the girl, I felt.
No, on all 3, it's very subtle.
On the one particular that struck me the most was when Iron Driver goes into the house. And then he's chasing her, right? And in his mind, he's like, oh, she's playing hard again. And then she puts off her shoes down the stairs. And then you see her perspective that she fucking trips and loses her shoes. I'm like,
well, especially on that scene, because something I noticed. It's like there's a scene earlier in his side where they're showing the party at the house. And there's an exact same scene with that other chick that he just bones in Ben Affleck's house. Yeah. And then it's mimicked almost exactly on hers, showing that that's how he saw it. So, and it's the same facial expressions because the facial expressions are different. It's like the way it's like there are subtle differences. It's kind of hard to pick up on unless you're like staring at this thing. Same with Matt Damon's perspective. Like the way things are framed shows almost like he's being wronged, which isn't necessarily the case. He's just a little dumb.
Yeah.
But it does frame it that way in a more like woe is me.
No, yeah, like you could see it, but it wasn't like.
No, it's not. They're not. It's not extreme.
Yeah, it wasn't extreme enough to show it 3 times.
Yeah.
What I hate the most is in Matt Damon's perspective and his wife. I'm like, oh my gosh, she loves me. I'm like, nah, dude. She tolerates you.
Barely.
Like when he comes back from work, he's like, oh my God, I missed you. And she's just like, hey, welcome back, I guess. You're not dead. Ooh.
I'm not penniless. Ooh. It's funny because, reading this after, I almost wish, this is just me, right? Obviously, it's not the same when you don't see people dying and stuff like that, right? Because that's cheap entertainment. But I almost wish they would have focused on the trial and just had it that way, and like had the trial be the frame.
I think it would have been better.
Because reading the trial is really interesting of like the stuff they did and everything, like the back and forth between the two. Because Matt Damon's character is dumb, but the prosecution or whatever he brings fucking like wrecks into the other guy. Like because they both start out and it looks like Adam Driver's character is like he's
right,
more loved.
almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like it starts to like go the other way over the course of the trial leading into the duel.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that was like a much more interesting idea in my head than what I saw. So
Sounds way more interesting. I think, I would have preferred that go through the trial version of it, and then they go into like their backstory
And,
perspective that way instead of just like
Well, the problem is,
Act 1.
to me, the trial also didn't feel like it was anything. It was like
5 minutes long.
if that.
Yeah.
It was like trial. Okay, did you do it? No. Did he do it? Yes. Okay, we duel.
But did you feel pleasure? No. I don't know. You have a baby. Maybe you did enjoy. I was like, what?
It makes sense.
yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of like the trial took months.
Of course.
Like
she was 6 months when they showed her at 6 months. I was like, what happened? I'm like, did it take that long to ride to the king's castle? Like,
well, I mean, there's a bunch of things that happened in between this, and they always took forever to do each part of the trial.
Normally, how it works.
Yeah. And like as they brought in defendants, I mean, there's the funny one to me when I read, I was like, oh shit. So the guy that lets Jacques Legris into the house, he's brought in as a witness, right? Oof. But because he is poor, he is tortured to make sure to verify his testimony is true, as well as all of his servants. And stuff like that. There's like stuff like that happens all throughout this trial. Fuck. There's another guy that was a major side on the defendant's side on Jacques Legris, and he was one of the major pushers of his backstory that he didn't do it. But then he's caught in Paris under charges of rape before the trial. and it helps undermine his defense.
God's it. Dude, that would have been so much spicier than what we got.
There's all this other stuff that happens. Like Matt Damon's character, Jean Carew, like he goes in, he's like, I mean, he provides a full blown alibi of why, because Jacques Legris never says it in the movie, but he accuses him of going home and beating his wife and telling him that he was telling her basically to say he was raped by the other guy. Mm-hmm. And then he comes in being like, that's not possible. I was in this other place. I could tell you what a horse does. I can show you how fast I can go on a horse. And it's physically impossible for me to go from here to there. But on the other hand, you with all your horses and the speed and the way you ride, it's very easy for you to make that trip over to this castle and here doing all. And there's all these things that just like go through like the entire trial process. Also, and I mean, it never mentions, but Jacques Legris supposedly offered her money to keep shut, which it never says, while during the proposition. He also countersues for like 40,000 livers or whatever the fact to his estate.
That's a lot.
I don't know. I didn't fully look.
That's a lot of chickens.
It's like $40 million.
Yeah. And stuff like that on defamation and all these other things if he were to ever lose.
I sue, you sue,
we
all sue. Whoever wins gets money.
Exactly. And that's exactly how it turns out at the end as well. Because it never mentions, at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
But like Jean Carew is set for life.
Of course.
After this duel.
Yeah.
It's like not a very
the Crusades again.
Not a very long life.
No.
But he's set for life.
Is set for life.
No, she's super set for life. Yeah. No, but he becomes one of the king's bodyguards later on. He becomes in high standing in the royal court after this.
They send him to Crusades.
He goes, and it's not technically the Crusades. No. It was a crusade.
It's all the same difference.
Yeah, because he was actually sent to Istanbul to check out the Ottoman Turks.
And we'll stab more people. For Jesus.
And then he comes back, and they're like, "Oh, this is a problem." And he goes, and then it never mentions this character, but the captain he went to Scotland with, that's who he goes with to this crusade, and then they both die there.
Yeah, Jesus wanted him dead.
Yeah.
I would want him dead. He's a shitty character. So he had a good life for 3 years.
He did.
It was a bit longer than that.
He was like 30 in this movie.
No, I know, but
he died at 35.
It was it was like 5 years after, I think. I can't remember.
That's a long time to be a king or bodyguard.
Yeah. I think it was a little longer than that, though. Like historically, I mean, obviously the way he looks is aside
in the movie. They show him at 30, And then he
I
dies
think
at
I think he's
35.
a little younger than that, probably. I mean, he looks old, but I think he's a
look it
little
up,
younger
but-
than that.
So did he get that piece of land that other guy?
So funny enough, he tries after becoming one of the royal bodyguards.
Yeah.
And Count Pierre, Ben Affleck's character,
that
is
guy.
so salty because he killed Jacques Legris
Yeah.
that he refuses to sell him this piece of land.
Wow.
I can't remember
What
his
an
name.
ass.
so I'm not gonna-
Yeah. He also ends up having 2 more kids.
Oh really?
Yeah, with his wife.
Well, his kids.
Yeah, his kids.
Obviously, that one is not his.
No.
I'm surprised he was actually able to have kids because that's what I thought. It was just
That he was,
maybe
but
hinted at.
no, but he had a kid with a previous wife. That the
Yeah.
movie glances over
No,
very
well,
like.
I talked about it.
Yeah.
because he says it. Well, they die from the plague.
Yep.
That's why he's pissed off, and
Uh-huh.
then at some point he tells her he's like, "You can't have a baby. My last wife could."
Yeah.
That's fucked
The usual,
up.
Uh-huh.
bullshit. It's like whatever.
Dude, my favorite is like, yeah, if you lose, it's because God wanted him to lose or whatever. I'm like, what? It's not by skill. Okay.
I mean, it's the idea. It's the thought process of the
Why
time,
the
right?
Crusades? It's like we want this land for what reason? Because God wants.
God.
it.
Like if you think of what like Jean Carew is, he is like the stereotypical hardcore like conservative.
Yeah.
And that's what he was in that time period. You know, it's all about God and country. You know, like he's doing his duty to the king and his God. Everything's very like simplified, you know, in his mindset. And it's the same level of pride of what he does and everything. I mean, that's what he is. Like, if you think about who these 2 characters are, they're just the opposite sides of the spectrum. If you think of it almost like in a political sense in their ideas, like the Jacques Legris and like Count Pierre and stuff come from a very up and coming, almost leading into Enlightenment era France and their ideas, compared to where Jean Carew comes from with a very like
Sword and board.
sword and board. Like this is what it is. And I mean, and that's just like the major difference in their characters. Yeah. Also, Jacques Legris had kids.
He did.
Dude, he's fucking like 300 people.
I remember.
Like, are we surprised?
That scene with Ben Affleck, and they're like talking, and they're like, "Yeah, anyway, why not you join my orgy, bro?"
It's just the thing, dude.
You just bro it up, man.
Take off your pants, dude. It's a different time period.
God.
Well, kind of.
Well, I mean,
people still do it nowadays.
No, yeah, no, but I mean, it's just like there's things. I mean, as a history nerd, I did enjoy like in their backstories, but like as a film, I don't like it. It's just not a good film.
It's a horrible film.
Yeah.
It makes it more shitty how Ridley Scott was like, "Yeah, fuck you for not watching my film."
Oh yeah.
Bruh.
Well, it's highly
tried.
rated.
It is.
Hold on, I tried to watch it on the theater. And there was showing it one theater. I was like an hour away from it. Right?
Well-
I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna drive an
Well,
hour.
this year, so it's that. It's the fucking like I think it's the length of it, and then I had zero marketing.
No, they had zero marketing.
It
That's
was, like,
probably the
legit
biggest thing.
zero
Uh huh.
marketing.
I saw it all the time
When
on YouTube.
I only saw this because you guys told me about it.
But
I'm
then
like,
again,
"Oh,
that's
man, that was a good
algorithmic,
actor."
right? It's because you know you're into that kind of like
Shit,
the reason
YouTube knows.
because I mean I know of this movie because I'm a fan of Ridley Scott
It was
and the stuff
highly
he does.
advertised to me all the time.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
never.
You know,
got
see,
it.
that's the thing. Like the only reason I know of this film and like House of Gucci, which just came
Yeah.
out, is because I know what movies he was coming out with. Because that's what I do. I follow film.
No, he just looks at Well,
Yeah.
he's the
I
trailer.
I do
man.
want to watch
I follow film.
Gucci.
Same.
House of Gucci looks good.
But like, and that's just the way it works. And I mean, but like the film's okay. I can understand to a certain degree why it's rated the way it is.
No,
I mean,
you're
sure, but
saying 86 is an 8.
Dude,
that's what everyone else believes.
people love 86.
So that's why people love this garbage. I was watching. I'm like, I see why it's highly rated. People just like watching repeats of shit.
Maybe they're a little dumb. They're like, I need this.
Can you show it to me
Repeatedly.
3 more
Yeah.
times because I forgot
I
the
need-
first hour and a half of this
Yeah,
movie.
it makes sense.
I need the perspective of the dude's mom.
I don't understand her. Like, they didn't show enough about her. She was just a mom. Like,
She's such a
was she a
bitch.
Crusader mom? Like, I don't understand. We needed a 4th perspective. Maybe another hour of this movie.
I mean, I didn't understand why she left, and she's like, I'm gonna take everybody in this household with me.
oh, and that poor dude. Like,
Actually,
who
historically,
opened the
no one
door?
knows why.
Oh.
She did have political business.
Of
She
course.
did go for something, but no one
She
knows.
was in cahoots with
No one fully knows exactly why
I
that
fucking
worked
hate
out.
my-
Yeah.
I fucking hate my daughter-in-law, dude. I'm gonna She's alone.
I'm gonna throw you a bone.
Yeah,
I
come
throw
on.
you a bone.
Go do your shit. Fuck her too.
Fuck everyone.
Yeah.
Fuck this film. Fuck everyone in it. Even though they're all good actors and other shit.
Well, I was entertained.
And good.
There's there's parts of this I was entertained.
The first half of the movie, first
My monkey
40
brain,
minutes.
especially at the end, I was like, whoa.
Well, obviously. The fight is reading about the fight afterwards is interesting as well. Just like how it works. This is what I do, Forrest. It's what I enjoy.
We only see him watch 2 movies a year. We understand why. He's like, I gotta know the Star Wars backstory. Give me 2 years to read it.
This is what I enjoy. It's like I love things like this. And like the way I like finding out the names of weapons and stuff was pretty dope.
I trip you shit.
No.
So
the axes they used are called Holy Trinities.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And also the dagger that he uses to kill him is called a Misericordia,
Okay.
which in Spanish, or Latin is mercy. That's what the name of the knife is.
Sure.
Mercy knife.
Yeah, it's a mercy knife.
Stab it in your mouth.
It heals you like Mercy does.
Shit.
And it's funny because they go, and when you read like the accounts of like the actual duel, because it was heavily accounted for, because all of Paris showed up to watch this duel.
Of course, it's a big duel.
Like to the point, like the king was so excited to see this. So Flanders, the area of Flanders, right?
Sure.
Decided, and their nobility decided to wage war against England, because that's what
Everyone
you
does,
do.
yeah.
That's what you do.
I step on land. It's mine now.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Fight me.
Between France and England, that's just how it works.
All
And so
Europe.
the king was caught up in that for a time period. And when they set the date of the duel, he was afraid he was going to miss it. So he pushed the duel back a month to make sure he was there to witness it.
See, motherfucker pushed the duel back. Adam Driver could have won it. He was in prime shape at that
Well,
time.
what's
Dude got
interesting,
fat.
it's interesting because they actually believed he would win. Because technically, even though the movie doesn't really show it, because the movie almost makes it seem
Movie doesn't show shit.
like Matt Matt Damon's character is probably better martially because that's just what he is.
Yeah.
But Jacques Legris was a bigger man. He was a big dude.
Oh.
And he was known for his martial prowess.
Yeah.
So they thought he was definitely going to win it.
Yeah.
Which is
Bro,
not what
was there
happened.
betting back in those days?
Of course there was.
Like, hey,
Nah,
come
man. never started.
Come to the betting house.
Las Vegas was the first place betting was invented. Did you know that?
Of course it
This
was.
the first MMA.
I mean, so much money was moved around. I mean, it never says, but like Jean Legris won a shit ton of money from the king after this duel as like his prize of winning or whatever, is because of how much fucking publicity this whole thing got.
Imagine
fight.
this guy. He's like, maybe you're still in like war with England. He writes a letter to the king, like, bro, I know we're fighting, but there's a duel I gotta go to. Can you chill a bit?
You know, I was thinking back. The thing I didn't understand about this movie was the ending. Like, on her perspective, the whole thing. It's like, I couldn't tell if she was happy, sad. She wanted to stop the fight. She wanted to keep going. She wanted them both to die. It was just like, she had that face of like, oh, man.
I might be fucked.
No, but even when he won, she had the face of, oh, man, I'm still alive, too.
I told you she hated her husband. Fuck
That's what I
that
said.
guy.
The whole time I was sitting there, I'm like, is she happy? Is she mad she started this? Like, what happened?
It's a
I
lot of
think
emotional
it's
turmoil.
both.
Yeah.
She just looked dead inside, and then when
Because she probably is just dead
At
inside.
the end with
She
the kid,
got
I'm like,
raped,
cool.
dude. And then she almost died because of it.
Yep.
She would have died terrible too.
Yeah, she would have burned
Of
at the
course.
stake.
Yep.
And not only that, because her kid is alive, right?
Yeah.
Her kid would have been penniless and destitute.
I don't know what that means. Sounds awful.
I think it would have died too.
Well, I
It
mean,
was still in her belly. During
no. During the duel, no, because she's holding the kid.
Yeah.
I totally
So
forgot.
the kid technically would have inherited his estate,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't have mattered because with the defamation suit,
Yeah.
Jacques Legris would have pretty much got all of that
Usually
land.
been poor. The usual back in the medieval
yeah.
time. You're either king or you're poor. There's one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the whole family would have just been royally fucked. But then that's not.
Oh, man. Oh, what a
That's not how
shame.
that turned out.
Now they're back to equal with the rest of the crowns.
I did like her acting though. I think her acting was pretty good.
I thought that all the acting was fine.
Not
Cinematography was
Ben
fine.
Affleck's.
I mean, Ben Affleck was just Ben Affleck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't like. I'm just like, yo, you could just not be in this movie, and it would have been the same. It would have been fine.
Yeah, there's been one less act.
Well, I mean, I understand why the character's there because the character is important.
Well, of course.
To the whole shebang. But I mean,
It shows a lot. But
Debatable. Well, important in this movie or like as a whole?
no, as a whole.
As a whole, yeah. But in this movie, it's kind of like he's just bros with this guy. He's like, yeah, I'm
It was a
gonna
waste
help
of
you with
time.
your.
Like,
I feel like
lawsuit.
this movie is just a whole waste of time. They showed a lot of stuff that they're like, this is important, but we're not going to go in on it. But, it's
Oh,
important.
it's important.
Yeah.
Remember,
It's like
but
cool.
not
It's like,
really.
why? Just tell me to either go read it or not watch this. It's
Like
one of those-
I almost, that's why I almost wish the first half of this movie was like the
And it just
trial
ended?
it was the trial and then the duel and then that would have been the film.
I don't mind the build-up,
Yeah.
but there's parts of the build-up that were just completely useless.
Well, that's why I said, like, I feel like if the buildup was all weaved into what would be just the trial,
Yeah.
almost like if you're watching like a fucking Law and Order or some bullshit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, dude, medieval Law and Order, bro.
see, that's what
Dun, dun.
because after reading this whole debacle, I was just like, dude, this could have been medieval Law and Order with a badass duel at the end, and this movie probably would have been a lot better than what I watched.
See, I think what I personally think they should have done was show them that they're buddy kind of, and you can see them
Yeah.
split.
Yeah.
And then you show the incident, Law and Order, death.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been. But no, it was like Law and Order, death, incident. Or no, was it death? Useless information, incident, death. It was just like skipped over. It showed. I think it also showed too many characters that were important, but not
to that
the
film.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like this guy's important. Do you know why?
Because
No,
there's
but it's
there's
important.
like the other guy, like his friend, like Jean Caroux's friend.
Fuck man, he was there. He's like high five.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then he
like-
left. Then you're like,
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Like, and I mean, and in the grand scheme of things, that character is only important for like setting up certain things.
So he set up like one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like they showed him a few times, but it was nothing like, I don't know. To me, all they showed him for is like, look, he is a friend.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the guy dies. He's like,
in
now
the, in the
he's
film that
sad.
in the film that
Ah.
makes sense, and I think the only reason why he's included at the beginning at all is because in the whole order of the story, the one thing that's very important is when Jean Carew goes to that friend's kids
Oh, yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and that's when Jacques Legree meets Marguerite. And I mean, for the whole thing of that's
I
important.
totally forgot that was for that guy.
Uh-huh.
I was like, why are we here?
That's what it is. It's that guy's kid.
I
That's
thought
the
it was-
whole reason he's in there. This
I thought that
I
whole
thought it
scene-
was just a party
That's
for
what I
all the
thought,
like,
like-
royal people. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense.
No.
I'm like, yeah, they're royalty.
it's his kid being born, which is the only reason why Jean Carew goes, because it's his friend's
why
kid.
did the other guy
It's
go?
all coming together now.
Huh?
Why did the other guy go?
Because he's just part of the nobility, and he's part of, because the other guy's still technically part of Pierre's court, because Pierre's the one that
Yeah.
holds everything.
Yeah.
So, and he just goes to party because he likes to fuck people. So, that's why Jacques Legree was there.
Oh my
and
God.
and because and they did kind of want to like what's the word I'm looking for? Because that rivalry was like big up
yeah.
to that point. So that also that they wanted to set up the parties like a consolation between the two,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So that was also one of the other motives of inviting both of them to
I was
begin
just so
with.
confused. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, where are we?
Yeah.
This is where you need acts and tell me location because I don't know where we are
Yeah.
or why.
And it's like stuff like that it misses on, but that's why that character is important. And then that character obviously helps with the trial and everything afterwards, backing him and all that other things.
So, in the act names, all I remember was Adam Driver's. It's called Truth.
No, they all are.
Oh, are they all just
Yeah.
Truth?
So it says Act 1, the truth according to Jean Carew.
Oh, I didn't.
yeah.
Oh,
And
I
then it
saw
was-
it because it was like glow truth,
No.
and then like I'd look
and
at
then
it and it disappeared.
and then the next one is the next one's the truth
Truth,
according to
yeah.
Jacques Legree,
Yeah,
and then the
yeah,
truth according to Marguerite. Yeah.
Okay. I
that's
just
what-
remember just seeing Adam Drivers. I'm
Yeah.
like,
That's what their preference is.
I now understand why I don't like this. But,
Also, the tenets that. Well, this is just me being the nerdy person I am when I watch this film, right? But like the ideas that are pushed by Pierre and Jacques Legree, like the ideas that they have in like the books they read, is also the reason why Lancelot's an Arthurian legend. That because
It's right up his alley.
yeah, Yeah.
This whole movie's up his alley.
It's
He
just
hasn't stopped talking about the history of it.
poorly made, but I love everything around this.
Yeah, so don't watch this movie.
It's like Star Wars. Star Wars is poorly made, but everything else is good.
It's just like go read the book that this movie's based off of.
Yeah, spend your time researching about the historical event. Probably have more enjoyment.
I did.
We're gonna rate this movie. We gotta give a number.
I give it a 6. Maybe 6.5.
I gave it a 6. I think everything besides the story and the length is good.
No, I would agree with a 6. I might even go to 5.5, really. But
wow. I guess we monkey brains. Damn, blows my mind.
Go read the story. Is it a book?
it is a book.
Can I just go on Wikipedia?
You can.
Well, yeah.
Is the book better?
Some would argue the book is probably more linear.
Because the book goes into all the other theories and stuff too of whether
Did you buy this
Wiki
book?
does.
Huh?
Did you buy this book?
No, I bootlegged it.
Wait. He's been spending all this money all this time, and he finally bootlegs a book. Holy shit.
I am going to buy it
I know you can.
because I want it.
You want the shitty book from a shitty
It's a
movie?
good book.
From a shitty movie?
The movie's not great, but it's a really good
All he
book.
wants to do is put it on his shelf because some person's going to be like, that's a good movie. And he's like, no, you should read the book.
That's a good the
book.
PDF version.
Because it goes through. It's very well thought out and written. It's a good book.
It's a book. Most books are well thought out. This movie was not.
What's that one? Book services.
The library.
If you want to sponsor Eddie, he'll read all the books.
Go on library.org probably.
But it is good. It's very interesting.
It's a historical book. Yeah. I understand where you're coming from.
Pass or skip?
Skip.
Skip this movie. Read it instead.
I'm so tilted because I actually thought this movie would be good.
I hoped it would
with
be.
Like the 7.6, I'm like, well, this is 7.6 on like actual rating. On like Rotten Tomatoes, it's like a 9.
For real?
Maybe it's high. I mean, I feel like this is like a very like
Very niche.
No. I think the idea it's like a. I feel like it wants to be like a female empowerment movie, but it's not.
Yeah.
Well, if they should have portrayed it more as that, then.
Yeah.
Because like,
well, then you
the
show her
that's not the cover.
perspective.
Kinda like at the end when it didn't matter. I wasn't that
The
point.
whole movie was just her perspective.
I think it would have been a lot better.
I think it would have been better.
Or
Yeah.
whatever. Then totally better.
Because it didn't feel like, because like you watch the whole thing and you're like, I don't feel the female empowerment.
No.
And then at the end you get the right turn and you're like, oh, here it is. And then the left turn is gone. And you're like,
I feel all these injustices for women at that time, right? And then I guess she wins at the end, but it wasn't very rewarding.
Because I mean, she wins, but she doesn't really win.
No.
Yeah.
Because that priest points it out anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's like this isn't a trial against your thing against her. It's because she's like the property of Jean Carew, so the crime's against him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they say that, and I can understand why this is supposed to be a film of just like, oh, look at the injustices that women go through over the ages, which has always been a thing and has always been an issue, right? But I don't know if I would consider this to be like an empowering film. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's as high as it is, but I didn't see it that way.
I definitely didn't see it. I just felt bad for her the whole time.
Exactly.
Even at the ending when she won,
Yeah.
I felt bad. I'm like, she's still stuck with the dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, for
After
3 more
the
years,
movie,
but yeah.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
I got this feeling just like males are assholes, women are treated poorly. They still are. And then that's the feeling I got after I watched it. I'm like,
Just like, you know, most people say you should look at history because it repeats itself. No one looks at history because it repeats itself, right? Is that how the law is?
I don't know if I don't think it's just repeating. It's me like it ended at a certain point, right, and happened again. I used to just continue.
Yeah, it's just a constant run through. It just hasn't stopped.
So history is not history because it's not in the past because it continues on.
Yeah.
Crazy. So reviewers gave it 85.
What's the audience score?
81.
81. How many?
1,000 for audience and $250 for.
Which is like so this movie is very niche, right? So like people like us, they like those movies, right? And usually probably gonna be like, yeah, it was a good movie, right?
See, I do believe it's a niche movie, but I thought the cast would force it to not be a niche movie. I think
that's what they were trying to do.
I think that was what they're trying to do, but I also feel like that
hurt the movie.
I think that hurt the movie overall, but
I don't know. I think it's fine. Overall,
I didn't watch the movie because Matt Damon was in it or Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but Adam Driver, we also don't watch movies. I feel like we don't watch. How many people nowadays do you think watch movies for actors?
Not very many. Actually, it's kind of funny because who is there's an interview with what's his name, the guy who plays Falcon in Avengers. I don't
know his name either.
Mackie. What's his first name? Anthony Mackie. Okay.
Sure.
You're from South Park.
Yeah. It came to me. Yeah. But he also had an interview and they asked him about stuff, and that was one of the things he said. It's like the average moviegoer doesn't go for an actor anymore. They go for a character or something like that, right?
Maybe a director if you're more into it.
I think most of the movies I watch is like if there's an actor that I know is in this movie, I'll watch it. Yeah.
There are certain actors I will watch because they're in it, like bigger now. Like I do like Adam Driver personally. Anything Nicolas Cage touches, I fucking watch.
I'm excited for Dracula.
Yeah. But if there's movies that like they look promising, but I don't know any of the actors, I'm gonna hesitate. I'm like, do I want to invest this whole time watching this movie? What if I'm not gonna like it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's understandable.
I think almost at that point, like if the movie's been out and there's reviews, I might look at it real quick.
It's either that or like the studio or the director. I'm like.
Director normally, I never care about the studio.
That's your filter?
That's my filter.
That's
director,
your filter.
I can see.
Actors in this movie or the director.
Yeah, no, actually, I'd agree with him. Studio. Oh well, I mean it depends, right? I see Bob as the person that sees A24 stuck on a movie. He's probably gonna watch it.
Watch it, yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat a little bit. I understand where that's coming from.
You are like composer. I'm gonna watch it.
I can see him watching it for that though.
I've done that for a few films.
He's like, dude, the music's good. You should watch it. I give the film a 2.
Movie garbage, but the music
top tier.
You know what you should watch then?
What?
Cowboy Bebop show. Music.
I know it is.
I
know the music's so good.
You should watch it then. It's up your alley. You'll give it a 2, but you'll be like the music though, man.
I'm gonna hate every second of. I'm just gonna close my eyes. Just close my eyes. Just listen. Just listen.
But then you have to hear the voice.
Hear the dialogue.
You know how in YouTube videos they have like the time marks for like certain events? They should do that for the whole show where there's like the musical piece.
Yeah.
on a shitty thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So much bad shit. Why? Why?
You guys watch anything good this week?
I really like Tick Tick Boom.
I like that one.
It was okay.
Yo, did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Oh, you did watch it? Okay.
It was okay. I thought the beginning was too slow, but the ending I liked.
Dude, I didn't know Andrew Garfield was British.
You didn't know this?
What?
He was American.
You didn't know this?
No, I didn't know.
He's like, Garfield was a president, so it must be an American last name.
He just sounds so convincing.
He does. Well, yeah.
I thought like he's American.
I'd argue American accents are pretty easy.
I mean, if you think about every main British actor has done an American accent, really well, for the most part, really well. Gary Oldman is British.
What?
I didn't know this is news to me.
Tom Holland is obviously British.
What?
You know who does
he looks American.
You know who does a shitty American accent? Daniel Craig.
I think if you're referring to Knives Out, I think that's on purpose.
Shit.
That's a very purposeful choice. But then again, if you're referring to like Tomb Raider, which is the first movie I can think of with him in my mind, because he also plays an American, his accent's okay. But I think that's him starting out, so I don't know.
I don't know. He was pretty bad on it's a movie where they're trying to steal money during a NASCAR race.
Oh, I don't remember this one.
Oh, man.
What?
His American accent's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It has Adam Driver in it.
What?
Yeah. Oh, Logan Lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Never mind. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I was like, I got it.
Early on, Adam Driver?
No.
It's a couple years back. That movie came out.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. There's a lot of English. I mean, Tom Hiddleston does a pretty good American accent.
He does.
I mean, I can name almost.
I'm about to say, we're just going to name names because we can.
Patrick Stewart. Henry Cavill.
So anyway, about this movie.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of it, though?
I was depressed.
I was depressed at the end. I just kind of felt
I
bad.
felt so bad.
I felt bad for all the friends, and I really hated the main guy.
The main guy.
I was just like, fuck this dude. He's like, I gotta do this. Fuck off. I gotta do. It's like, no, dude. Your friend's dying. The other friend's dying. Your girlfriend's leaving you because you're an asshole. Like, fuck this guy.
It was so.
And then his play lost. I'm like, yeah.
Bro, he's like, I'm gonna debut in Broadway, and I died the night before. Oh, I was tilted.
I mean, it's funny when you think like Jonathan Larson it's like he's probably one of the few last like the dying artist that's like recognized posthumously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is like he is like a Van Gogh and stuff like that. I mean, those people are notoriously assholes in their own right anyway. It's just the way of the
dying of artists.
Yeah. And I mean, he's one. Also, I referenced that with that because he's also one of those few people that was extremely talented in what he could do, and that's probably the reason why his legacy persists the way it does.
I don't know. Like,
but when
in my mind, like I've just pictured him. I'm like, you can do multiple things at the same time. You know, you can, go try to find a little extra money somewhere and still
of course.
And produce.
And like I said, it's the same problem I have when I watch the thing he created, right? Which is Rent, right? And it's one of like the same issue. Like when I think about it, obviously, like I said, it's the boomer tradesman mindset in my head, right? To a certain degree. Yeah, go work, you fucking lose.
Because in my mind, it's like obviously we're artists technically,
sure,
but we have a job and then we do this.
I mean, I do understand the idea of leaving, something to pursue something, and who knows, maybe you come out on top, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But there is a limit, and there should be a safety bar. I don't think he had a limit or a safety bar. Because I think basically he was turning 30, because that was like the whole big thing about it. Yeah. And he's like, blah, 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 all these people did this. He just never did it. What did he do for 10 years, 12 years?
Well, he took 8 years to write that play.
Yeah, but he said he started that at like what?
22.
Was that 22?
What
did he do before then?
He graduated college.
He did.
He was like in a. So did he even go to college?
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
So what did he do?
It was straight out of high school.
Yeah, he moved to New York.
They went to Europe with his friend.
Which makes sense.
He'd probably try to write smaller stuff and get in other ways. I mean, I would
think
assume.
he tried to be like an actor, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna write.
Because that's what he's.
Good at. Like there's parts where he was in the jingle office. I'm like, dude, you write jingles easily. Just spend like 10 minutes, write some bullshit jingle, and then work.
But he also represents the idea of also like the self-righteous artist, right? The thing, I don't want to work for a corporation, because that was another thing that was in there, right?
I understand that.
I can get that.
Is that better than working for a diner that's a corporation?
Yeah, like because if you look at Jonathan Larson, like he's a person that if he really wanted to, could have made a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Even before Rent, or without Superbia failing, or even just Tick Tick Boom, right?
Yeah.
Like he could have made a royal fuck ton of money. Because he was good at what he did. And like his friend pointed out, like you just point it somewhere else, you would have had everything you needed to do what you wanted.
Yeah. You could have basically made your safety barrier, dropped it off a little bit. And
to an idea, it's like, sure, you'd have to sell out a little bit, right?
That's all of life.
Yeah.
But I think people like him don't think like that. Like, if I do all of this, then I can.
But at a certain point, it's like, what, you live on your street trying to sell your art until you die?
I mean,
like there's a limit to
but I feel like there's a mindset of that in general, right? And it's not just in artists either, right? You take, for instance, you take someone like Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Who, it was the same thing. It was even then. I mean, he was used by a big corporation anyway, and they made a shit ton of money off of his work.
I'd argue he wants to get on Broadway.
Yeah.
I'd argue Broadway is a corporation.
It is.
Some would say a very big one.
And the movie points that out and stuff too. Like there's the point where he's walking down the street and all the posters are like generic names for shows. Yeah. And that's the idea he feels, and the whole impetus of why he's doing what he's doing is supposedly because he wanted to bring something, new, unique to the scene.
Which I understand that.
Yeah.
You can see it, but it's just still, this is my mentality of like, just You can go do both.
Well, yeah,
It's not
He
it's
just
not
did-
hard not
yeah,
to
he
do
just didn't see it that way. Like that's like the weird moral code he set for himself. But then again, that's also
But then why
it's
you
just
go
like
work at a diner?
I don't
the
know.
Diner's even worse.
Yeah.
I'd argue.
It's like a New York stereotype. Even if you were in LA trying to be an actor,
Yeah, you work
for some
at a
reason you're
waiter.
a waiter.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because it's easier because your hours are not set.
That's
right?
true.
So
You
you
can
have
just
to
do
go wait at a
random
table
stuff.
for 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Or be a bartender for
and then I go write my bullshit. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I
in the
guess so.
morning or at
Yeah.
night.
I can see that.
It's more
I can see that.
flexible, I guess. It pays like shit, but to them, it makes them feel like they still have time to do all this other creative stuff.
Even the waiter side, I can even understand the justification as an actor being like, I got to deal with people and put on a face and do what this,
like
this
improv
this
almost,
thing, right? So I can understand that to a certain degree.
I can also see if he's using it as writing material.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
Like I have never watched Rent, but I'm gonna guess it's kind of based off of his life.
Like Rent, like you think of this movie that you just watched,
Yes.
right? You think of everything that this movie touched on and everything that went on in his life.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Rent.
Yep.
Okay, so that's why I kind of guessed.
Yeah.
You could tell it was the same writer.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
Yeah.
I kind of guessed because the way that they showed like certain characters that were
even the main character struggles with the same things that he struggled with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
There's
Uh-huh.
all the undertones of like the AIDS epidemic or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like like his gay friends and what they struggle with.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
the same shit.
And then the main character struggling to write a song for like a play,
Yeah.
it's
just
Rent,
his life.
Rent is is what he went through.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Which
sense.
is why that line that the agent gives him, write about what you know.
Yeah,
Which-
so
which-
important. That's
yeah.
what I guessed
Uh-huh.
when she said it. I'm like, that's probably what runs.
Which served for Tick Tick Boom, which is interesting because the movie we watch is not necessarily a biopic. It is,
Well,
but it is an adaptation of the musical he made about his life.
It's a musical about a musical
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
done by a
Yeah,
musician.
leading into one of the biggest Broadway powerhouses that has ever come out.
Makes sense.
When they were, what was that play he was writing in Tick Tick Boom?
Superbia.
Yeah. When he was like reading about it, and
It was like
I'm
Superbia,
just
I
like,
think. Yeah.
Yeah,
bro,
Superbia.
this is real life right now.
It's funny because like
ahead
when
of
you
his day.
when you hear about that play, and I'm just like, this is one that I feel like if that musical was released today, it'd probably do a lot better than when he
Yeah.
tried to post it then.
It's ahead of his times.
Yeah. And that's what he was. I mean, that's what everyone agreed. Like even with interviews with Stephen Sondheim, which is one of the, his big mentor figure in this film and stuff.
Yeah.
That was one of the things he said about Jonathan Larson. Is like he was one of the few people he believed that could meld like the ideas of pop or rock music with show tunes.
Yeah.
And he felt like he was one of the only people who did it well and had it meld right. And he was just like one of those one in a million types of people that could do this,
Yeah.
which is why he helped him in the way that he did.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think like musicians or people who just deal with music, I can't really relate to them or how they create their art. He's just like I don't know, rocket science to me, dude. I'm like, how do
You just hear the beeps and the boops, and you're like, I'm gonna put that on paper.
yeah, I'm like, what? And you just come up with this whole
Yeah.
shit. I'm like,
Especially for like the type of artist like that. Because to a certain degree, like, right, if you understand music theory to a certain point,
Yeah.
I mean, you can manufacture
Anything.
anything.
Well, like writing a book. You can write bullshit young novel book a
Yeah.
1,000 times if you read it. It's like, I just copy and paste main character's
it's-
attitude.
What's crazy to me is when you have the people like that build all this without that knowledge or receive that knowledge after the fact. Almost like that knowledge just like refines the edge more than, being the basis of all of it.
Yeah.
And he is kind of one of those people. Obviously, he does have that music theater background, and you can tell that, that's what he studies and that's what he does, and he understands it.
Yeah.
But it's just cool to see how he put together all those things. Because if Rent has anything, it has a banger soundtrack. It does.
I really liked it.
I mean, whether whether you care about the characters or anything, because whatever your views on and what the thing is, it has got a banger soundtrack.
One day I'll watch it.
And I feel like this movie is the same thing because it's written by all the music in this movie is written by him.
Yeah, well,
was
makes sense.
written
Of
by him.
course.
Yeah.
It's on HBO Max.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it though.
And
It's a bit long though.
It's
okay.
a
I've only
musical.
been watching 2.5 hour movies.
I think the standard Broadway show is like 2.5 hours.
Of course.
I did enjoy like the
Better be when you're paying like $200 a ticket.
exactly. I do enjoy like the diner scene with all the cameos because that's what all that was. It was all cameos, and I'm like, I know a lot of these people. I don't know some of them. I know a lot of these people.
My favorite was the guy spelling his name. I like that guy.
I saw that guy live.
See?
You saw him
For
live
one
in New
scene?
York?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He plays Hermes in Hadestown.
Oh.
Yeah. But
When you go see him, you can be like, see? So fuck you.
and then they had the two girls from Hamilton, and then the guy who's in Oklahoma, who also sings one of the songs. He's the singing voice for Jethro in Prince of Egypt. There's that guy in there.
So they have this elf musical play in Salt Lake. I'm like, I'm gonna go see it, right?
They have
And then I looked at the ticket price. I'm like,
$150.
Never mind. I don't think I can afford it.
Is it $150?
No, it's not.
Less?
It's $150 for 2 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
But,
It's.
Oh,
I feel like
where
it's
we
a.
live, that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like it's a. I mean, I always knew it's expensive. I remember a friend of mine the first time. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I took this girl to go see Wicked," and he was telling me how much he spent and stuff, and I'm just like, ooh.
$500.
Huh?
$500.
I think it was here, so obviously,
it's a little bit cheaper.
I think he spent like
$250.
he spent like $300, I think,
Yeah.
Damn.
and that's not including like dinner because he said he went to a
Of
nicer
course,
place,
yeah.
obviously, right?
You might as well do the whole package. You're really spending $1,000 almost.
Uh huh.
I do want to see The Lion King.
Yeah,
I have a DVD.
but like that was interesting too when I walked out of the show and you could see like all the families coming out because you come out with your playbill or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Seeing all the families with their playbill for either Aladdin or Lion King that was out there.
Imagine spending like $200 for a kid that's like 7.
I think their tickets are cheaper, but yes,
I
but
thought-
still,
how much
it's
cheaper?
still a lot.
I thought for some
$100.
reason you were gonna like tie it into Batman or something like shit for some reason.
What? Yeah, the new Batman
I
movie.
mean, it's like
right?
family coming out of the play or
And
whatever.
then Batman
And then-
comes out.
No.
Because it's New York.
Well, the origin of Batman is they're coming out of Faust, the play Faustus, and that's when they get shot. Is coming out of that play.
Anyway, I thought the main characters in the show were not bad. I liked the gay dude. He's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
And the
I'm sad he
main
died.
main
Uh-huh.
actor. Yeah.
Bruh.
The girl. She was
I was
cool.
like Vanessa Hudgens. I see.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It was just good. I enjoyed this movie. I don't know what to say. I enjoyed it.
I gave
it was
it
good.
8.5.
I was good. I was gonna give it an 8.
7.5.
I was gonna give it an 8, but
I just thought the beginning was a little weird. Just didn't, it was like,
Because at first I thought
okay.
it was like a biopic.
Uh-huh.
I thought that until they
it's a
start singing.
musical.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
never mind. I knew what it was.
Of course you did. You watched probably the trailer.
No, this one I
He knows
did.
how- he knows
Oh,
the
he
play,
read the
I
right?
just read about it,
Oh.
and then obviously this is the debut of Lin-Manuel Miranda as a director.
I thought he directed Hamilton.
No, so actually, he wrote it,
Oh, he wrote it.
but the director is in the movie.
Uh-huh.
There's that scene where he's showing his song to all those Broadway people,
Yeah.
and the director's sitting in the crowd.
Ooh.
He's one of the guys there. Yeah, but
Gotcha.
Cool.
yeah, but it's between both of them that they made Hamilton. Lin-Manuel Miranda he wrote the music, and with help of the other guy, arranged it for
He's so talented.
for show.
Pass or skip? Sorry,
If you,
that's the same thing.
the-
I mean,
yeah.
watch or skip.
I mean,
pass hands,
I feel like this is. I mean, if you
this is niche.
if you like musical
Yeah.
theater, I mean, you should definitely watch this movie.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
For the average.
Which, if you like musical theater, you
Average-
probably have already watched this movie.
That's what I said. If it's an average viewer,
That's why I have to agree after then.
fuck. What would an average person think of this movie?
It depends, I think, on their.
That's the
I think it
issue.
depends on their opinion on musicals. Like if they,
Yeah, that's why. This
I
one
feel
I
like
can't.
if they
Yeah, well,
just
it's the
passing.
same thing.
Well, I mean, because there's a difference between like loving just musical theater in general and
Well,
just
yeah.
knowing. Because I mean, there's the people that have watched like any Disney film and like that type of movie.
But there's an understanding.
Yeah.
I argue.
Yes, exactly.
If it's a musical and you like musicals, if you like singing, watch.
Yeah, if you
like
haven't
a
already,
biopic, maybe watch. I don't know. This is a weird.
it's
biopic.
interesting. I mean, obviously it's a biopic written by the guy it's about,
Yeah.
with music he wrote about his life,
Yeah.
which is interesting in its
a
own
true
way.
story, except for the stuff he wrote.
Yeah,
about. As it says in the beginning.
exactly.
I'm
But
like,
it's a
oh,
very
okay.
interesting film, and I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I said
The
it.
music's top tier. So
I think it's good, but it's just it's niche.
Yeah.
it's very like this is more niche than the last Duel. I'd argue.
Welcome to
Oh,
a
yeah.
niche episode. Where
Yeah,
podcast
pretty
itself
much.
is niche.
No, we're not niche at all.
We're totally niche. Look at our fucking name.
No, let me see if I watched another niche thing. No, I don't think
What did
I
I watch this week? Oh yeah, I watched Silence. So yeah, that's niche.
That's also in there.
Very
It's all
niche.
art housey.
Yep.
That also had Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver. That's your through line between the two.
That's not the niche stuff.
Silence is a good movie though.
I liked it. It was maybe not as much as I hoped, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
I can talk about something not niche.
What?
Smash Brothers final update.
Oh yeah.
Is coming.
I
I
saw
thought it was
that.
Sora was the final.
No.
This is the last patch for buffs and debuffs, and then the game is dead.
Is it
Smash is going to be officially dead, guys.
I mean, Nintendo's working on the console, so probably.
Yeah, but who's going to make the game?
We'll get a new Smash.
Who's going to make the game?
He will.
He's not going to make the game. He's going to
says
die
that.
before he
He
makes
says
the
that.
next game.
He's gonna come. He'll be like, you know
Dude,
what? I'll make another one.
I think Sakurai just wanted this to be his swan song for Smash.
I think he just
he's
wanted
like,
to-
I'm
yeah.
gonna work my ass off to make this thing the best thing I can possibly make it in my eyes, and then
I'd argue this is almost the best Smash. I think the only thing would have been better would have been like Waluigi. It could have made the game amazing.
I was wondering where the meme was gonna come in because I'm like, he's not gonna say something serious. Because I understand. You know, there's the people that are the purists. They like the ideas of the combat. You know, the way the combat's done in Melee. Or
I do like
whatever.
Melee personally,
Yeah.
but that's just because I think I played that the
There's
most.
the
Yeah.
nostalgia. That's what we
It's
grew up
just-
on, right? And I can understand where a person likes that, or maybe the competitive player that likes the speed of it and the way it is. But if you look at this game and like what it's accomplished and what it's done, even like
I think this is
it's
the
just
best party version of it because it's like you want a slow character. If you have people that aren't like, I want to play, you know, best character or get best, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna play random and play fuck, I don't know who's ass.
or you play free for
Bayonetta,
you play free for all and just
Oh yeah, I use big heavy Bowser and down B as much as I can.
You want total chaos, play with 8 people.
Yeah.
and then add items
Yeah.
and you know you do the crazy bullshit that I believe Sakurai wanted this game to be. It just so happens that it all
Smash is very competitive.
because it is a fighting game that it has a competitive, and you can tell Sakurai tried his best too to even be a party game, because it's funny because when you would listen to like his later directs and how he would hint at stuff, because I think no one at Nintendo is supposed to talk about the competitive aspect of it.
Of course not.
That's why they never.
That's why they keep canceling all the fucking tournaments.
That's why they never released numbers or anything either. But you can tell even he was just like, oh, this comes out at certain frames per second or stuff.
Yeah.
Because he knows, right? And
Because no normal viewers are gonna be like, "Oh, dash swing sounds fast."
he knows who his audience is to a certain degree, because I believe it's a part of Smash that he also enjoys.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd argue it's like any competitive game where you have the competitive, which is very, I'd argue, not saying it's small, but it's very narrow comparatively.
Niche.
Damn, we're back on niche. Fuck.
Well, and it's good to see a creator like that, right?
Yeah.
For instance, it's like the director for Final Fantasy 14, for instance, right? He's the same way. He's a person who loves super hard end game content, but he understands that his game has to cater to everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what Sakurai just did with Smash as well. He understands, and he probably enjoys the high end of play, which is why he tried his best to include as much as he could with it. Although I don't think Nintendo's infrastructure allowed for it, thinking of stuff like Elite Smash and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Because that was his intention, but that doesn't mean it plays out the way
I'd argue
it does.
This is a game that you can probably spit out content infinitely.
Oh, yeah.
And like constantly if you don't balance. You just put out the character and like you just basically do power creep where it's like new character, new power strength. It's like, but he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back, and it's like, I put out a new character. Shit, I gotta balance. How many characters are in the game now? Around
There's
this
like
one
almost like
fucking
100 of
character.
them. Yeah. And what's crazy to me too is like how much care he puts into every single, like how much care the whole team put into every single one. Because I think one of the biggest things that we can compare it to is obviously Nickelodeon released their game, right?
Best game.
Right, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is the Smash killer. It has all these characters that we love."
Smash is the Smash killer.
Yeah, but like when the game came out, I mean, sure, it had its initial bumps when it came out, but then it just died.
Yeah.
But you could tell like the care is not the same. Like even though the game mimics Smash and what it does, almost I think 90% of the characters didn't have voice lines. Everyone had very like basic, like move sets and stuff, and maybe some characters obviously were a bit overpowered than others. It almost looked like there was nothing that was super balanced. It might have been to a certain degree to put the game out, right?
Yeah.
but like you can tell every moveset and every stage and everything didn't have like all of them. I think none of the music for any of the shows are in there, obviously.
Wow.
Like it does not have the same care that Smash does. And when you think Smash is a logistical nightmare, if you think about all the copyright and all like the fucking trademarks that's in this fucking game.
I don't really think of that. I think it's probably the opposite. I think it's the best marketing thing.
Yes.
Because I think it's more of that than trademark. Because
I think like to get Sora in that game for a B.
As big as Nintendo was, I think it still probably took a lot for Disney to be like, okay, here you go.
I think it's more like, how much money you gonna give me? Like, what's the percentage?
Well, yeah, but even you can only see Sora, right? You can't see like
Goofy and Donald, except for like
the
the little chain,
and that's it.
That's it.
But how many other characters are there that I bet you were 1,000 times easier? I would argue that that's probably the only character that was a bitch to get.
No, obviously, Microsoft was fast and loose, and they even said they were fast and loose. Like that's why it was so easy to work with Mojang and Microsoft for Steve.
Yeah,
I mean, also the rare characters because they're also owned by Microsoft. And I know those ones Microsoft was really gung ho about it.
Yeah,
because they really wanted to push that collaboration between the two.
I even think the other fighting games were all about it too.
Oh yeah.
I think the only one that would be logistically hard it
was Sora. Sora is probably the worst. I think Square Enix was also a little rough at first.
But it's Japanese companies.
Yeah,
you just bow a few extra times and you probably get it.
Yeah, because I think I heard with Cloud it was a bit of a nightmare when he originally wasn't. But then after that, obviously now we have Sephiroth and Hero.
Castlevania?
Konami, dude, fuck Konami's just trying to make money where they can, dude.
Take all my characters.
Pachinko machine it. Here we go.
I mean, they put Snake in.
Mm-hmm. They did, yeah.
In Brawl, right? I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the last Konami thing that came out was a Pachinko machine for Metal Gear Solid, right? And there was Castlevania ones coming out when they put Castlevania in Smash.
I think what they did, they knocked on Nintendo's door and was like, we have characters. You give us $1 each and just put our name underneath it, small print. Yeah. We'll give it to you.
It's the way it works. Kojima left Konami, and Konami's like, well, fuck. So we're just gonna make gacha games of pachinko machines, and we're gonna fucking market our characters
infinite money
through the biggest Japanese video game company that isn't Square Enix.
Damn. They big brained. They're like, we don't have any developers. Who needs to develop a game when you can put marbles in a goddamn machine?
We'll make the models for you. Just put them in the game, please. Here are the files.
And I feel like that's how that worked. I mean, I don't know what else Konami has that could have added, but because the only big characters I could see were the Castlevania ones they still had and Metal Gear Solid.
Dude, I can't wait for the next game though. They're gonna have Death
We could have had fucking Pyramid Head. I was just thinking of I forgot Silent Hill was also
how
under
slow he would be.
You'd play like a you played Soul Calibur.
I knew you were gonna bring Darkness
Nightmare.
Or Nightmare. Yeah. But you said, I'm like, I know where it's going.
Yeah, same thing. Shame. But yeah, Final Fetch.
And the game will finally be dead.
I don't think it'll be dead.
It's already dead.
I don't think it's still dead. I don't think it ever died. No. I mean, it's not as big,
like
and it's
a quarter of its player base.
I haven't played it in maybe a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been playing since we played that one map we made, the enchilada map.
Oh yeah,
I haven't played it since then.
Best map ever.
Was that the ridiculous one with all the lava?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And then you play with the huge mode or whatever. Yep, that one.
And you couldn't move. It's like, bang, poke, and like die, damn it.
Or you just start bouncing between all of them.
God,
it's a great game. Do you have any news?
No, we can save that for later.
All right.
The news would have been in the patch. But
thanks everybody for watching.
Yep.
Go check out our previous videos if you haven't.
We're on all podcasting platforms and on YouTube if you want to see our ugly faces.
Share if you like.
Comment. Subscribe.
And then
tell a friend. And then another friend.
If you like us a lot, you can give us money by buying stickers. We give you some. It's a trade deal.
It's a trade deal.
They make stickers. They're pretty dope.
Buy our stickers.
Buy their stickers.
Or if you follow us, we'll give you a 20% discount on stickers.
Just tell us.
we follow count, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
Till
figure out
next
how it
time.
works. Till next time.
Peace.
The other one.